First, Congressman Jackson, as you know, announced his resignation from the 2nd Congressional District today. The 2nd Congressional District stretches all the way from Chicago through suburban Cook County, all the way into Will and Kankakee counties. We've got the maps here. This is the Cook County portion of it, and that's the more entire district of the 2nd Congressional District. Suburban Cook has the most precincts and voters of the 4 jurisdictions. It has 263 precincts with about 222,000 voters. The city of Chicago has 170 precincts with about 110,000 voters. Will County has 27 precincts with about 32,000 voters. And Kankakee County has 85 precincts with 64,000 voters. As you may have heard, I've been discussing the potential for a special primary election, both publicly and with the individuals from the City Board of Elections, the Will County Clerk, the Kankakee County Clerk, the Governor's Office and the Governor, and the State's Attorney's Office, because we all are concerned about what's going to happen now. And while Chicago does not have elections in 2013, there are existing elections scheduled in all the other counties, including the 3 counties that have part of the 2nd Congressional District. We have a primary scheduled February 26th and a general election scheduled on April 9th. As we proceed with figuring out how to fill this vacancy, there are 4 motivating factors in our consideration. The first of those, of course, we want to follow the law. And the law says there must be a special election to be held with 115 days from the date of vacancy. Our second concern is that we want all the voters to be represented. That's why the law is there, to make sure when there is a vacancy, by choice, by death, whatever it may be, that the voters are represented. Our third key factor is that we want to save money. We're talking about well over $1 million of expenses if in fact we have to have the elections on different days than the scheduled ones. So that's the third motivating factor. And the fourth factor is important to us who do elections, and that is boosting turnout. Turnout's important. Sometimes when you have special elections, you have dramatically smaller turnout than if you have the election on a regularly scheduled day. So we're going to be following those 4 principles. Now, as for how we proceed, we're talking with the governor. The existing law mentions 115 days and also says the governor has several days to, in fact, to declare a vacancy and set an election calendar. We will be looking to do something similar like we did a few years ago when Congressman Emanuel left the Congress in the 5th Congressional District, and we had to fill that vacancy. In that case, it was both suburban Cook and the city of Chicago. And what we're looking for is to meet those principles I mentioned before, is that the best chance, not everything's figured out yet, is that we will be seeking some sort of judicial relief from the courts which would allow us to meet these goals, but perhaps to compress the election schedule. If you look at it like this, with Jackson's announcement of retirement today, okay, the new term starts January 3rd. There's no way we could meet any of the requirements between now and January 3rd. I'm sorry, January 3rd when the new Congress takes over. So that's one factor. So we will be exploring the possibility with the courts of arranging the days which are established by law, including how much time for petitioning, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mentioned before with the 5th Congressional District is what happened in that case. The court was helpful. And it turned out instead of having to have 2 special elections, we actually had 1 special election in between our February and April election, which did save us money. And to do that, though, the court said, yes, we can give less days for the people to petition, we can shorten the process in other ways. So that has precedent. We do believe the courts will be sympathetic. We certainly know the governor is sympathetic to the questions of cost. So that's the lay of the land. That's why we're talking about this today. We don't have a lot of time to work on this, but if we have our way, the special elections to fill the 2nd congressional vacancy will be done on the existing dates already established by law in February and April. If not, we hope the minimum would be is there would be one of those elections held at a different time. But our goal is to save the money and to do it on the February and April elections.